Well, good morning, everyone. I hope you've had a good time with the stuff from week 2 for program evaluation. I'm sitting outside my backyard, and it's a gorgeous morning. A little bit breezy. You can see my hair's getting in my face a little bit, but that's okay because it's just beautiful weather. I love this kind of start of fall weather, you know, where it's not too hot and you can be outside. It's really nice. So let's talk about week 3, because week 3 is where we're going to start to really get into the meat of this course. So far, we've been talking about kind of an introduction to what program evaluation is, but today we're going to talk about needs assessment. This week, that's what we're going to kind of focus on. So generally, when we think of doing a program evaluation, we think about evaluating a program that's already in existence. So what we do is we try to determine the extent to which the program has met the goals that it espouses and the extent to which it's successful. But program evaluation can be used to determine other things like whether new programs are needed to meet needs. And this is called doing a needs assessment. So that's what we're going to focus on this week. So when performing a needs assessment, what we really do is we systematically evaluate whether a gap that we suspect is present is actually present, and then why that gap in service exists. So sometimes we find out that there is a gap, but it's really just a gap in the program, the existing services, and that program needs to be tweaked. But other cases, we find out that we might actually need to do something new in order to address that perceived gap. So in other words, what we find in that situation is where somebody says, you know what we really need? And that's where we know, okay, there actually isn't that program. There's a need for a new program. So when we do a needs assessment, we're really asking whether something new is needed in order to address an existing problem, or whether we can modify what's already there. So now, as always in this course, actually, I want you to read all of the materials on needs assessment. I've posted PowerPoint slides. They have embedded readings, and there's also an embedded assignment in those PowerPoint slides. There are also a couple of other readings that you'll need to take a look at this week in order to ensure that you're getting the full information. Sorry, I'm moving my iPad just a little bit. I'm seeing that there's like here, if I sit over here, then I'm not in the sunshine. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, so there's also a bunch of other articles. Some of them are a little bit short, you know, one-pager kind of things, just look for a little bit more information. Those are all required. There also will be a section of the readings where there's about 4 articles that I've picked, and they all are needs assessment articles in a whole bunch of different fields. I want you to pick one and read one, and you're going to use that one for your feedback, or for your assignment. Now there's a second assignment also for you, and that is where you are going to post the topic that you want to look at for your needs assessment. And that's an ungraded assignment, but please do it, because then I can give you some feedback on what it is that you would like to do. Remember, you're proposing a needs assessment. So this is a proposal for an organization or an entity or some sort of agency or a classroom or something like that you think that there's a gap in services. Okay, so later this week, I will start with a statement of a problem for our class needs assessment. So remember, we're going to do one together, and probably at the same time, if you're at least on top of your schedule, at the same time, you'll be creating your own needs assessment proposal so that you're not doing one all by yourself without ever seeing one being created. We're going to create one together, and then at the same time, or maybe a little bit later, you'll start creating those sections for your own needs assessment. So it's probably a good idea to work on it as we work on it in class, but we'll start that this week, at least with a statement of the problem, or at least with a statement of the problem as I see it. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the stuff for this week. Please don't hesitate to contact me, because this is where we start really getting into the meat of the course.